Woke activists are doing everything they can to try and defend Assassin's Creed Shadows and the heinous actions that Ubisoft have taken promoting this game. And I think it is going to massively backfire against Ubisoft and the game itself. The latest actions are the moderators of the Assassin's Creed subreddit are threatening to ban anyone disputing the claim that Yasuke was always a historical samurai. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And so, just to provide some brief context here, Ubisoft originally claimed and still does claim that Yasuke is a, quote, powerful African samurai of historical legend in its promotional material. You can see this on the official Ubisoft website for Assassin's Creed Shadows. It literally says right here that he is a powerful African samurai of historical legend. They have not updated this, despite, which we'll get to, their post saying that him being a samurai is indeed disputed. We also have this interview from the game's director, Charles Benoit, where he claims players will be able to learn about the history of Sengoku-era Japan. And he was asked this by Xbox Wire. This is a familiar setting for gamers. How does this game differentiate its take on the setting? And this is how he responded. We're at the end of Sengoku era and a turning point of Japan history. Assassin's Creed is well known for its depiction of the history and accurate recreation of the world, and it's what players can expect with Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're showing real historical figures such as Oda Nobunaga and a lot of events that happened during that time. So you're not only playing in feudal Japan, but learning about this fantastic time period. So there you go, Charles Benoit confirming that they are telling you that this is a historical game and that you would be able to learn about the time period that it is set in, which is the Sengoku era of Japan. So Ubisoft has since backtracked on this idea that Yasuke is indeed a samurai and that there was no debate about it. They posted this, I think it was last week. Days blur together, but recently they posted this. It says here, while Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoi, who is equally important in the game. Our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. So even Ubisoft now is saying that it is up for debate whether or not Yasuke is a samurai, something that they were not actually saying previously. They were declaring that it was not up for debate, that he was a samurai. However, there is lots of investigations that have been taking place that show that this is most definitely up for debate and that he was not actually, a lot of people think that he was not actually a samurai. A lot of historians believe this. So despite Ubisoft backtracking and admitting that their original claim that Yasuke is a samurai is disputed, moderators on the Assassin's Creed subreddit are threatening to ban anyone who disputes the claim that he's a samurai. The moderators posted a thread on July 28th, just yesterday, on Sunday. There is no debate. It's titled, this is what it's titled. There is no debate. Yasuke was a samurai. If you disagree, you can do that somewhere else. Where have we heard this before? If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. We've seen this time and time and time again. And what ends up happening is people do indeed take the advice. Go touch grass. Don't watch it. Doctor Who. No one watched it. People tuned out. They went and touched grass. This is what happens. And I think we're probably going to see something similar happen here with Assassin's Creed Shadows. But this is what the actual post reads. With the reveal of Assassin's Creed Shadows, there has been an influx of certain individuals spilling into various communities online, such as this subreddit, and raising arguments about historical accuracy. As we are all exhausted of this tedious discussion that has been endlessly talked to death, not to mention exacerbated by a recent official statement from Ubisoft, we would like to give a final reminder to those participating in these debates as to what exactly this franchise entails and why there was never any point to these discussions to begin with outside of thinly veiling bad faith intent. So this is obviously a lot of lies. These people are clearly SJWs. And what do SJWs do? They lie, they double down on their lies, and they project. And that's exactly what they're doing here just in this first paragraph. They're lying, they're doubling down, and they're projecting because they're the ones who have the bad faith intent. And that's why they are trying to shut down any kind of discussion about the truth. If you're trying to hide the truth, you're the one who has bad faith intent. And that's exactly what they are doing here, because this is clearly a discussion that is pertinent. We have pointed out that they did talk about that this was what real history was, and you can learn real history from that. That is from the game's director, yet they're going to try and claim that historical accuracy doesn't mean anything, despite the game's director saying the opposite. Again, gaslighting up to the max right here. That's what they're doing here, these moderators. They continue saying, Assassin's Creed is historical fiction. This means that while certain locations, events, and figures may be based on reality and can even have a slight focus on accuracy, their depictions are largely exaggerated for the sake of a more enjoyable video game. While all of our player protagonists have been fictional to date, the introduction of Yasuke has given some people the false impression that the above rule does not apply. It still does. Well, not according to Ubisoft, because they're the ones who say you can learn about the actual history in their game. They're also saying that he is a historical samurai. That's in their marketing. That is what they are saying. Again, the gaslighting has been turned up to max. The moderators then declared Yasuke, who is a samurai, as confirmed by multiple reputable historians around the world, including from Japan. This is also disputed. Again, even we'll get to Ubisoft's, we just pointed this out. Ubisoft's statement disputes this. May not have held as large as a role in the real world as he does in Shadows. That is okay. It is a video game. You are not meant to use Assassin's Creed as a source book for actual historical knowledge. Remember, what did Charles Benoit say to Xbox Wire, the game's director? Literally says you can learn about the history of the Sengoku era of Japan in the game. It is meant to compel you to do your own external research after immersing you in a glimpse of authenticity. For a helpful list on how this is generally portrayed across the series, you may explore the following links, and then they list off a bunch of links trying to argue their point, which who knows what these links are. I haven't actually looked at them, but we already have enough information to realize that these people are indeed lying and trying to gaslight members of the Assassin's Creed subreddit to dictate what they view is the truth, which we know is a lie. We are not here in this community to debate on historical record. Most of us understand as fans that while these games provide us a great look into what historical settings could have felt like and have fun comparing them to actual record. So they are actually like, oh, you can even like make this stuff up, right? We're not here to debate on historical record, but we literally debate about the historical record and we point out how it could be different or how it is different. So you literally admit that that's exactly one of the reasons why people come to the subreddit. You literally can't make this stuff up here, lying in just 2 sentences. We do not chase accuracy within this franchise and primarily play for other reasons. So if you are specifically here to leave comments about your displeasure about Yasuke's inclusion or various other inaccurate details that have been pointed out in Ubisoft's depiction of feudal Japan, it is time to understand that this is not the place for this discussion, and it never will be. Feel free to take your displeasures elsewhere, away from this franchise and its community. So basically telling people to don't play the game, don't buy the game, go elsewhere. That is what they're saying here. This is the Assassin's Creed subreddit on Reddit telling you, take your displeasures elsewhere, away from this franchise and its communities. What absolutely idiotic advice for if you're Ubisoft, telling people not to play the game. We've seen this before. People listen. They listen when people tell them not to play the game, not to buy the game. They do indeed listen because they don't want to be insulted by people running this Assassin's Creed subreddit and people like them. And then here's the real kicker right here. They threaten to ban anyone who disputes the claim that Yasuke is a samurai. Any further comments attempting to dispute Yasuke's societal status, disparage his inclusion in-game, or containing statements bordering on concern trolling for historical accuracy will be swiftly removed and met with a ban. That's right. They will silence you if you speak the truth. That is who is running the Assassin's Creed subreddit. That's who the moderators are. They stand against truth. They do not want to actually even engage in any kind of seeking of the truth. These people are liars. They double down on their lies and they are projecting. And we went through this whole thing and it is a giant, giant gaslight. It's sick and it's evil. And so what is funny, though, there is some hilariousness to come out of this. And Mark Kern points this out. He wrote this. Reddit's Assassin's Creed moderator says that No matter what Ubisoft says, Yasuke as samurai is a fact, and anyone saying otherwise would be banned. By this logic, Ubisoft itself would be banned for posting their apology there, as they themselves admit the matter is under debate. Literally cannot make this up. The Assassin's Creed subreddit is admitting that they would ban the developers of Assassin's Creed because they do indeed point out that it is up for debate and it is disputed. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. It's just absolutely hilarious because these people are so absolutely stupid. Stupid. They are indeed stupid. But not only are they stupid, they are insidious. This is insidious what they're trying to do here. Because again, they are trying to stifle seeking of the truth on this matter, which I find absolutely repugnant. We should want to seek the truth on this. And we do have someone who is seeking the truth here, Shoei Kondo, who I think is a fantastic YouTuber, done a really good job covering this, especially from the Japanese point of view. And he points out that there is a historian. His name is Yuichi Goza. He's a faculty member of the International Research Center for Japanese Studies, focusing on Japanese medieval history. And Shoei Kondo says this, that he concluded that theory that Yasuke becomes a samurai is based on solely on just one variation of the Shincho Koki manuscript. Therefore, we should be cautious about concluding he was a samurai. Kondo then notes that there are 60 variations of the Shincho Koki, and the one is saying that Yasuke got some sort of short sword or house, or just one of them, and just one variation of 60 posits this. And this is where this whole claim that Yasuke is a samurai kind of comes from, or where they are really kind of pointing to as to, like, this is the real evidence that that he is a samurai. And we've discussed this before, not going to bring it up here, but we've seen another Japanese historian, I think his name is Hariyama, I think is his name, and he basically kind of tried to say that he was a samurai, but then he was like, well, this is just really my opinion, and it is indeed up for debate. It is kind of just a theory. We don't have enough information to really know whether or not he was a samurai, because again, there isn't a lot of information about Yasuke. And I think that is something that we want to be seeking the truth. And I think that's something that we should be doing. We shouldn't be declaring things when we don't really have enough information to make such declarations, such as what Ubisoft did in order to sell their game, in order to push woke ideology, in order to push the DEI agenda. And that's exactly what they are trying to do here with this game. And fortunately, I think the Assassin's Creed moderators here on this subreddit have done a fantastic job of telling people to go play something else rather than this game. And there are lots of other options to play. And I think this is going to significantly harm Ubisoft's finances as this game releases later this year in November. They are already evading lots of questions that investors have for them regarding this game. And they've almost admitted that it's unlikely to be the best-selling game in the Assassin's Creed franchise, which indicates to me that their pre-order sales are not that great. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.